The first time I saw Commander Ryla of the Zavarian Legion, she was dragging a metal beam twice her size across the human outpost courtyard. Sparks rained from the collapsed hangar behind her. Humans ran around shouting orders, but she moved alone, focused, calm, lethal. Zavarians were known for their ruthlessness. Their armor was sharp and angular, their eyes glowing like molten copper. Ryla, especially, was feared by every species that had ever seen her in battle. And somehow, I, a human engineer named Marcus Hale, had been assigned as her liaison. Ryla never spoke to me, never acknowledged me. For 3 days straight, she ignored every request, every question, every attempt at cooperation. She treated me like an insect crawling across her battlefield. I was told not to take it personally. She doesn't talk to anyone, the other engineers whispered. She hasn't let a medic touch her in 2 months, another added. That last part became important later. On the 4th night, the alarms blared. An enemy torpedo struck the outpost perimeter, sending shockwaves through the main building. I rushed toward the defense corridor to check for damage. That was where I found her. Ryla was kneeling against the wall, her breathing ragged, her armor cracked across the abdomen. Glowing blue blood seeped through the fractures. Her voice was low. Human, do not approach. But she was collapsing. I ignored her warning and knelt beside her. Commander, you're injured. Let me help. She snapped her head toward me, copper eyes blazing. No one touches Zavarian armor. Ever. Her voice trembled, revealing something I'd never heard from her before. Fear. I swallowed hard. Then tell me what to do. Because you're bleeding out. The corridor lights flickered, illuminating the deep fissure running across her chest plate. It wasn't just cracked. It was melting, reacting with her blood in a way I didn't understand. Her breathing quickened. My armor binds to my life force. If tampered with, it kills both the wearer and the one who attempts it. Then we're out of options? I asked. Ryla stared at me for a long moment, her expression unreadable. Then she whispered, soft, vulnerable, unlike the commander I knew. Unless I choose the one who touches it. Middle. I froze. What does that mean? It means, she said slowly, I must grant you access. Permission. Trust. The last word seemed foreign on her tongue. She leaned forward, pain twisting her features. Marcus Hale, hold out your hand. My heart hammered, but I did as she said. She placed her palm against mine, her skin scorching hot even through her gauntlet. A shock of energy surged up my arm. The corridor around us dimmed as her armor plates unlocked with a metallic hiss. The glowing runes across her chest flickered. It recognizes you now, she whispered. Only you. Her armor loosened enough for me to lift the cracked plates. Beneath them, her skin shimmered with iridescent blue. She was bleeding heavily. You've been injured for days? I asked. She looked away, embarrassed. A true Zavarian does not show weakness. Well, congratulations, I muttered. You're doing a terrible job. For a split second, she almost smiled, almost. I cleaned the wound with a coolant gel, carefully sealing the damaged tissue. Ryla tensed, flinching every time my fingers brushed the edge of her armor. But she didn't stop me. When I finished, I gently touched one last plate near her shoulder to reset it. She flinched again, this time not from pain. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Only you may touch me like this. My breath caught. The words felt heavy, charged. Is that a Zavarian thing? I asked. It is a vow, she said quietly. Stronger than any treaty. A bond of protection, of trust, of closeness. I swallowed, unsure how to respond. Before I could say anything, an explosion rocked the corridor. The enemy had breached the northern gates. Ryla pushed herself to her feet, her armor resealing around her with a flash of light. Her voice regained its hard edge. "Stay behind me, human." "No," I said. "I'm coming with you." She studied me. "Why?" "Because you finally let me in. Because you're not as heartless as you pretend. Because I saw the fear in your eyes, and I won't let you face it alone." But all I said aloud was, "Because you need me." Something in her gaze softened. Together, we ran toward the battlefield. The battle. The enemy forces were already inside the courtyard, drones, shock troopers, and anti-armor cannons firing wildly. Our defenders were scattered. Ryla's voice thundered across the field. "Scifiarians, form on me." Her soldiers immediately fell into formation. I stayed by her side, using my engineering tools to disable enemy drones mid-air and overload their weapons. Ryla fought like a starborn goddess, every strike precise, every move powerful. With her armor repaired, she was unstoppable. But the enemy commander, a towering mech unit, charged directly at her. I saw the mech's targeting lasers lock onto her chest. "Ryla," I shouted. Without thinking, I grabbed her arm and pulled her aside as the mech fired a plasma lance that scorched the ground. Commander Ryla stared at me, stunned, not by the danger, but by the fact that I touched her armor again. "You risked your life for me," she said softly. "Guess the vow goes both ways," I replied. Her expression changed, something fierce but warm. Together, we brought the mech down. She struck the final blow, plunging her blade into its core. Silence fell over the battlefield as the remaining enemies fled. The outpost was saved. Ending. Night fell. Fires were extinguished. Wounded were treated. Repairs began. Ryla stood on the balcony overlooking the courtyard, her armor shimmering under the moonlight. I approached, unsure if she wanted company. She spoke without turning around. "You are not like other humans." "I'll take that as a compliment," I said. "You should." She faced me fully, and for the first time, she removed her helmet. Her dark hair fell to her shoulders, her copper eyes glowing softly. "You touched my armor," she said. "You saved my life. And you stood beside me in battle." "I'd do it again," I said honestly. She stepped closer, so close I could feel the heat radiating from her. "When a Scifiarian grants someone access to their armor," she said, "it is not merely a vow." I held my breath. "Then what is it?" "It is an invitation," she whispered. "To stand with us. To be one of us. To be mine." My heart nearly stopped. "Ryla." She took my hand, no armor between us this time. "I flinched when you touched my armor," she said, "because I feared what it meant. But now I fear nothing." The fierce commander was gone. In her place stood someone strong, vulnerable, and entirely real. "What happens now?" I asked. She smiled, a rare, breathtaking sight. "Now," she whispered, "you walk beside me, as the one I trust above all others." She squeezed my hand gently. "Only you may." And for the first time since the war began, I felt like the galaxy had given me something worth fighting for.